Headless is seen as the modern way of building and deploying systems, especially when it comes down to customer experience platforms like eCommerce. There are a number of concepts evolving out of headless architecture, such as MACH Architecture and Composable commerce. But before going deep into those concepts, it's really important to understand and appreciate the fundamentals of headless architecture. This video is for those of you who are moving towards headless architecture and really want to understand the fundamentals and the considerations of headless architecture without getting bogged down too much in the detail. So let's waste no more time. Let's get to it. So what does headless really mean? Well, headless architecture is the complete separation of the front-end experiences from the back-end systems that provide the business logic and the functionality. The front ends are hooked up to the back-end systems using APIs. True headless systems are designed to be completely free from the constraints of how the data, the content, and the functionality is implemented and rendered in the front end. A headless architecture gives you the complete freedom to build your front end the way that you want to build it with the technology that you want to use, as opposed to being dictated to by your back-end platform and only using the technology that that platform provides. It offers you the opportunity to use best-of-breed platforms that are specialized in their areas of functionality. Headless architectures enable you to quickly implement new customer touchpoints and new customer channels as they use the same APIs, and they give you that consistency of data and consistency of functionality across those touchpoints. For example, an add-to-basket action would be implemented in a single API rather than being replicated for each new front end. In many ways, headless architecture has been misnamed. Maybe it should be named a multi-headed architecture or a front-end agnostic architecture. To simplify the concept of headless architecture, let's look at it in a traditional layered architectural style. This will help us divide a headless system into its areas of concern. And to keep it simple, I've divided headless architecture into 4 tiers or layers. And our first tier is our experience layer. This is where we implement our customer touchpoints, or where we implement the applications that drive our customer channels. This is the layer where businesses engage with their customers. The touchpoints can be considered as interfaces with customers or doorways into the business. These can be website interfaces as we were used to, or web apps and native apps that are specialized for a given customer segment. Touchpoints can be applications in physical environments like stores, airports, garage forecourts, banks, ATMs, cars, airplanes, cruise ships, hotels, museums, gyms, stations, or even shopping malls. Touchpoints can be applications that are action-oriented, delivered through devices that are wearables, applications, or other IoT devices. Touchpoints can be delivered through different technologies, such as native technologies like iOS, Android, and Windows, or through PWAs or JavaScript frameworks like React and Vue. Headless architectures give you the ultimate flexibility when it comes to delivering content and functionality into digital experiences. It's probably going to be the prerequisite for participating and getting involved with new digital experiences such as the metaverse. The application layer is where the headless applications are deployed. These are the primary applications that specialize in the technologies you need to deliver the right content, data, and functionality into your digital experiences. They deliver their value through services and connect with your digital experiences using APIs that are delivered through macroservices, microservices, events, and webhooks. Great headless applications are multi-tenanted and based in the cloud. These applications are the functional building blocks for your digital experiences and are the key enabler for composable commerce. It's the implementation of this layer that allows businesses to select best-of-breed suppliers that fit their unique business requirements. For example, applications could include commerce, CMS, search, PIM, media management, checkout, payment, and personalization. The communication tier is the layer that connects applications to the digital experiences. This layer is important in translating and optimizing communications to ensure that the connectivity between the API and the UI is as efficient as possible. This layer deals with the orchestration of API calls, which is incredibly important for large, complicated interactions such as large screen loads or customer transactions. Getting this layer right is vital for accelerating the development of your touchpoints and ensuring that there is consistency of communication across all of your touchpoints. Some of the key technologies used in this layer include API orchestration frameworks, GraphQL, as well as event-driven architecture services. It also includes front-end specific API componentry like those included in storefronts and ADNs, or even purpose-built backend for a front-ends or BFFs. The final layer is the business administration layer, and the business administration layer is not often included in architecture, as in the old world in the monolithic suites, these were included as a set of hard-coded interfaces and processes within the application. However, in a world where you're buying or renting best-of-breed functionality, it's an important factor to consider, as instead of one single interface, you have to work across multiple interfaces, each with their own design language and interaction patterns. If you're implementing a platform with a large ecosystem like eCommerce, multiple business administration consoles will appear multiple times, all within a single process. It's important that business consoles have the flexibility to extend and adapt and are even able to add components and UI components from other systems and applications. Another key factor that you need to consider is data synchronization across all these different systems. A CLI scripting and low-code tooling is essential in the initial setup stages, particularly when it comes to migrating data from your older systems. Consider a product going live. You need to ensure that the PIM, the catalog, the pricing, the promotion, the content for the promotions, and the digital assets are all in place before the product launch. But all of this data resides in different systems, applications, and microservices. When it comes to headless architecture, it's not only important to consider how to compose the front ends for your customers, but also how do you compose the front ends for your business users to use your back-end systems. At first glance, headless architecture seems simple, as you're actually removing layers like the presentation layer, or merging business, logic, and data into application services. However, it's far more sophisticated, as it's about multiplying the number of front ends, the number of customer channels, and the number of customer touchpoints. Headless architecture is a distributed computing architecture which requires different skills and different considerations. The separation of applications and functionality into services means you need to take much more control over the orchestration and the management of communications. As the consolidated admin console and business processes that you get out of the box with big, large monolithic suites are now gone, you need to really consider the business UI for your business users and how they're going to operate the back-end systems. Headless architectures are immensely powerful and are going to be a staple architectural pattern for the future, but it's immensely important that you really need to appreciate and understand the fundamentals. I'll be releasing more videos on the principles of headless architectures, how to use headless architectures, whether you're ready for headless architectures, and the approach to moving towards headless architecture. However, if you want to know more about headless or MACH architectures right now, why not take a look at this playlist I've produced already, or look at this video that YouTube has already recommended here. If you like this video, don't forget to press that like button, and if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe. But for now, it's time to say thank you, goodbye, and I'll see you next time.